Looking at example 4, I am still talking about a sphere, but it's telling me the volume. Anytime you're told the volume, you know what V equals. So you're not trying to find V like the previous problems. You're going to work backwards. It's also tricky because the ultimate question is to find the diameter, and that's not in our volume formula. So I'm going to focus on our volume formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. Normally we just plug in r and evaluate, but I don't know r, I know v. So I'm going to plug this 288 pi in for v. This is what we're going to solve. There's lots of different ways to solve this equation. Personally, what I like to do, when I see pi on both sides of the equation, I just want to get rid of it. The opposite of multiplying by pi is to divide by pi. Gone. So now we just have the 288. We still have that annoying 4/3, but there's a lot less on that right-hand side now. Now normally I'd say, okay, after you do this to the third power, multiply by 4. So I'm just going to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide by 4. So 288 divided by 4 is 72. This is going to look weird, but all I did was cancel these out. So there's still this divide by 3. And you know the opposite of dividing by 3? Multiplying by 3. So now that whole fraction is gone. 72 times 3 is 216. So I'm going to write it up here. I have 216 on the left, r to the third on the right. And this is annoying. If you happen to have your perfect cubes memorized, first of all, why? And also congratulations, but the calculator is going to do this for you. I want to know the opposite of to the third power. So if you remember, if I had like 49 equals x squared, to solve it, we would square root. I don't have squared here, I have cubed. So the opposite of that is cube root. So in my calculator, I need to find my cube root function. So, calculator people, type your number in. So I'm finding the cube root of 216. And here's cubed, and right below it is the inverse operation of cube root. That's telling me that 6 times 6 times 6 is what gave me that 216. So again, how you do that is you put the number in that you would like to cube root, and then you push the cube root button. If you have a calculator, you need to push, for these calculators at least, math, and then I see the cube root is option 4. And then I could type my 216 into it. So we just found that the radius of that sphere must have been 6. Which is all well and good, but I don't want the radius. So the question is, do I cut this in half or do I double it? So picture what we're working with. We're supposed to have this sphere, so let's, goodness, come on. So let's picture the sphere. So the radius is the distance from the center to the edge of the sphere. The diameter is part of this distance, but then it just keeps going to the other edge. So I would have 6 on both sides, so the diameter is actually 12. So a lot going on in that problem. But we've had a work backwards problem like that before. Last problem. We have a spherical tank. We're told the radius is 4 feet. It's not completely full. It's only an eighth of the way full. And we're going to find the volume of water needed to fill the tank. So I'm trying to think how I want you to do this. If it's only 1/8 full, then I want to know how much is left, what fraction is left. So let's go back to long time ago, your fraction. Whoa, that was weird. Long time ago, your fraction days, back when you were taught fractions. if I take a piece of pie and I cut it into 8 slices, if 1/8 has been eaten, how much is left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/8 are left. So really this question wants to know, find the volume needed to fill the tank. Find the volume of 7/8 of the tank, which seems kind of weird, but keep in mind we already did one with this weird fraction. We're just going to not find half of the tank, we're going to find 7/8 of the tank. So I'm going to just think, well, the whole tank is 4/3 times pi r cubed, but we want 7/8 of the tank. So let's plug in our radius and then just start slowly whittling away. Again, people with calculators, plug it all in at once. Save yourself a lot of time. But I'm just going to plug this in. First thing I would like to know is what is 4 to the 3rd power, and I get 64. Then I'm going to multiply by this 4. Everybody else stays the same. 64 times 4 is 256. What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just keep multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by this 7 also. I'm going to leave the division for the end because that's when some unpleasant fractions might show up, or decimals. So 256 times 7 is 1792. Next, I'm going to divide by 8. Oops, I guess I don't need to write that. So that divided by 8 is 224. I'm going to divide that by 3. There's a decimal. 74.66666666666666, and the directions don't give me rounding directions, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit times pi and find 234.6-ish, so about 235 cubic feet. You're not going to get a ton with these weird fractions thrown in. You might get a semicircle, or sorry, a hemisphere every once in a while. But for the most part, 4/3 pi r cubed is all you need to know. Use the formula every once in a while. You'll work backwards, but we'll try and keep them as straight